The Codes of Eternity. The monastery was silent as the group emerged from the chamber. The evening sun cast long shadows across the ancient stone pathways, but none of them spoke as they walked back to their quarters. The events in the chamber weighed heavily on their minds. The Shivoham, with its cryptic symbols, had left them with more questions than answers. Yet for the first time, a glimmer of clarity sparked between them. Eleanor broke the silence. Those symbols. I've seen something like them before. She paused, her voice trembling slightly. In the constellations. Charlie frowned, rubbing his temples. Constellations? You're saying the book is connected to the stars? Not just the stars, Eleanor replied. It's a map, or a system, something bigger than us. The symbols weren't just abstract patterns. They mirrored specific alignments in the night sky. Julian stopped walking and turned to face her. Are you saying the Shivoham is some sort of astronomical tool? It's possible, Eleanor said, but it's not just about astronomy. Those symbols, there's something fractal about them, as if they repeat endlessly, inwards and outwards. Rajan Singh's frustration had boiled into bitterness, but even he couldn't suppress his curiosity. If this is true, then deciphering those symbols might lead us to something tangible, something valuable. Charlie glanced at him, his voice laced with skepticism. Haven't you learned anything? The Shivoham isn't a treasure map. It's meant to challenge us. Challenge us or not, Singh countered. Those symbols mean something. If we can decode them, we'll understand the real purpose of this book. And I, for one, don't intend to leave here without answers. That night, the four of them gathered in Eleanor's room. A rough sketch of the symbols glinted faintly in the dim candlelight. Eleanor had meticulously drawn them from memory, arranging them as they had appeared on the Shivoham's cover. They formed a sequence of interlocking geometric shapes, circles within triangles, spirals intersecting lines. At the center was a symbol that resembled an ancient glyph, a sphere encased in what looked like a web of light. We need to start somewhere, Eleanor said. Julian, you studied linguistics. Could these be a form of proto-writing? Julian examined the sketch closely. Possibly, but they don't align with any known script. However, he leaned forward, tracing a finger along one of the spirals. These patterns, they remind me of mathematical sequences like the Fibonacci spiral. Charlie perked up. You're saying the symbols are mathematical? In a way, Julian said. If these are fractals, then they might encode information through repetition. But it's not just about the patterns. It's about their placement. Singh crossed his arms. You're overthinking this. It's probably just some esoteric nonsense meant to look important. Or it's a key, Eleanor said firmly. A cipher designed to hide something extraordinary. The breakthrough came 2 nights later. After hours of examining the sketches, Charlie noticed something unusual. Each symbol, when layered over a grid of star maps, aligned perfectly with specific celestial events, eclipses, planetary conjunctions, even pulsar emissions. These aren't just symbols, he said excitedly. They're coordinates, astronomical coordinates. Eleanor's eyes widened. And if they're coordinates, then the Shivoham is pointing us to something in space. Not just in space, Julian interjected. Look at this. He overlaid the symbols onto a chart of subatomic particles. To their astonishment, the patterns mirrored quantum entanglement diagrams. It's not just astronomy. The Shivoham spans both the macroscopic and microscopic universes. Singh snorted. Great. So now we're talking about the entire cosmos. No, Eleanor said. We're talking about how the cosmos is orchestrated, how it's connected. The group worked tirelessly over the next week, their discoveries growing more astonishing by the day. By cross-referencing the Shivoham symbols with data from physics, biology, and cosmology, they uncovered a startling revelation. The book encoded a unifying principle, a formula that linked the vastness of the universe to the smallest quantum particles. "This isn't just a book," Eleanor whispered one evening, her voice filled with awe. "It's a blueprint, a guide to understanding consciousness itself." Julian nodded. "The symbols suggest that the universe operates like a massive neural network. Every star, every atom, every living being is part of a larger consciousness, a self-aware system." Singh scoffed, though uneasily. "You're saying the universe is alive?" "Not alive in the way we think," Charlie said, "but conscious, in a way that transcends biology. The Shivoham's codes reveal a pattern, a feedback loop of energy and information. It's like the universe is thinking." Their discoveries took a dramatic turn when Singh, driven by his greed, attempted to decode the Shivoham alone. Late one night, he stole Eleanor's sketches and retreated to the chamber. But as he tried to force the book open, the symbols began to shift and rearrange themselves, glowing faintly in the darkness. Singh stared in shock as the patterns formed a new sequence, one he hadn't seen before. Suddenly, the air around him seemed to hum, vibrating with a low-frequency sound. The sensation grew overwhelming, and Singh collapsed to the ground, clutching his head as visions of his own insignificance flooded his mind. When the group found him hours later, Singh was shaking, his face pale. "It's alive," he whispered. "The Shivoham. It knows." To be continued.